Hello there, welcome to JRT Reviews. I'm JRT and this is R.R.R.R. Rapid Record Review Roundup R4. Like the little droid. Was that Obi-Wan's droid? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? God, I'm a fucking nerd. I might drop the last R there. Rapid Record Reviews R.R.R. Not too sure. Anyway, whilst I had a break from videos, I have still consumed music. Quite a bit of it, in fact. That's why we're going to fly through quite a few records this week rapidly. The first episode, which you can see, I think it's, I don't know, it's up there somewhere. Use your eyes. Didn't really have that pace to it, that power, that. You know, it wasn't rapid enough, it was tepid. It didn't really live up to the name. It was more like rushed record review roundup. Sorry, I couldn't think of a word that meant slow, beginning with R, that wasn't deeply offensive. Anyway, almost onto the music.
Ellie Goulding, Brightest Blue, 4.5.
Forgettable and bland, this one. Not quite awful, but most songs are simple, formulaic pop hits, no proper standout moments. That being said, the more memorable moments definitely did come from the featured artists. So on the first track, Serpent Feet, even though that felt really forced and didn't really flow with the rest of the song, it was quite a nice feature on the first track. And then towards the back end of the album, obviously you had the Juice WRLD feature on that big single. If you like pop, yeah, it'd be alright, but just really didn't do anything for me.
Popsmoke, Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon, 6.
This one was somewhat more enjoyable, approaches multiple subgenres of hip-hop, actually, surprisingly, for me. You got your drill sounds, trap, because of course it's 2020, can't have hip-hop without trap, more traditional hip-hop as well, and it also seems to mean some grime influence on it as well. It doesn't feel like a posthumous cash grab. No song really feels rushed or forced in. And the same applies to any features. It doesn't feel like they just put a big name on there to make sales. However, that being said, it wasn't truly amazing either. And very rarely did it capture my attention fully.
Oliver Tree, Ugly is Beautiful, 6.5.
Whilst it feels like the large majority of this project was already released, the additional context the album provides does slightly change my mind on a few songs. Pop rock sounds are melded with more rap rock into a very cohesive and consistent sound, but that does create some very samey sounding tracks. This isn't helped by the frequent messaging of being the underdog, left for dead, taken for granted. However, on that spectrum of consistency and cohesiveness about theme and topics and sound to repetitiveness, I think it finds just the right balance. It veers towards repetitiveness. However, I'm willing to forgive it because it is quite a fun project overall. There's slight freshness to most songs still, which is surprising considering some of these have been out for like 2 years.
Kurang Bin Mordekai, 6.
There's some interesting and fun ideas in this project, but for the most part, they fall on two sides of an extreme for me. Either ideas given hardly any time before they're just dropped out of nowhere and forgotten about, or sounds completely just stretched out beyond their welcome to the point of just being killed. Overall, it was a pleasant listen, I say, just not really engrossing, no real substance or anything to pull me back to it.
Haim, Inlet, 5.5.
Drab, dour, and just more of the same from Haim. I went back and listened to their last project to get a taste, and I wouldn't say there was a major improvement or even big difference between the two projects. But that being said, there's no regression, they haven't gone backwards. In a way, it's kind of nice and cool to see a band take a massive 2-decade-long break, come back and pick up exactly where they left off. But it does kind of feel like this is an unreleased B-side. It does have that bizarre feeling of digging up a time capsule from 1998. I personally took very little from this release.
Haim, Women in Music, Part 3, 7.
I know, I should have done a full review of this. It was such a high profile release. Quite enjoyed it. It definitely would have deserved a full video, but I was busy. However, I wasn't entirely swept away by it. I find it charming in places. There are some lovely cuts on this project, but nothing that blew me away or had me really wanted to come back and listen to it immediately, or really wanted me to listen to it multiple times on a loop. I would give the sisters their due for a really incredibly consistent and cohesive album. It isn't a case of certain songs dragging the album down, it's just quality throughout. But for me, it didn't quite hit in a way a 9 or an 8 would.
Division, A Muse In Her Feelings, 7.5.
Division quite impressed me with A Muse In Her Feelings. This is one that I didn't get the chance to properly listen to when it came out back in April, which is a shame. It has a very nice cohesive feeling again, but it also has this really plushy, luscious sound to most of the tracks. Groundbreaking, no, but a really decent showing of alternative R&B, which thanks to a relatively weak showing from the genre so far this year, does stand out a bit.
SAULT, Untitled, Black is, 8.5.
That being said, SAULT and their Untitled or Black is It's a really powerful album released at a really turbulent time. It doesn't take a genius to figure out the context of this album from the cover, the title, and the themes of it, but it's simple yet powerful in its messaging. It helps that the fusion of funk, neo-soul, and alt R&B aspects are relatively seamless. One of my favourite projects of the year so far, as well as the summer and the second half of the year, as we're quickly approaching the end of it. It's weird to say it's 2/3 done. Almost. That's concerning.
A.A. Williams, Forever Blue, 6.5.
I probably gave this one the most listens alongside the Haim record. I found it not difficult, not tough, almost a chore to get through it. But at the same time, it took so many listens to get a feeling, a strong feeling, or any real critiques beyond not really feeling it. After all this time, I've just been about able to muster some feelings, some positive, some negative. I do like the general atmosphere and feeling, though, of the album, but there isn't really enough that leaves an impression on me that I take away from it and come back, like I go about my day, because it reminds me of it. Were more powerful albums certainly do. However, I definitely enjoyed this and the more somber, sobering, darker singer-songwriter sound we don't really hear that often.
100 Gecs, 1000 Gecs in the Tree of Clues, 7.5.
I don't really listen to many remix projects. Dua Lipa's has announced hers, which I probably will listen to because Future Nostalgia is a great album. However, the amount of wacky guests and artists on this and the fact that I'm a big sucker for hyperpop, can't get enough of the genre, led me to this. The novelty of big names or what sounds like 2000s nightcall wears off slightly at parts, but not enough to detract from the general scale and quality of the project. I find it really difficult to say if I prefer this compared to the original, the non-remixed. The mixed one. We'll just call it original because that's what normal people do. But score-wise, I'd probably have it down just by 1 rating.
The Beths, Jump Rope Gazers, 8.
Feels like summer baby. Pure indie rock anthems all over this one. Really upbeat, but the sound and quality is fresh, polished, yet enthusiastic, youthful, energetic. It reminds me of the heyday of British indie rock bands, which is surprising considering this is a band from New Zealand. For a sophomore effort in a subgenre that's crowded and bloated and renowned for being repetitive, this is a bold, brash, and beautiful effort. That's all for the Rapid Record review. Hope that was quick and rapid for you. Next up will be a review of the new Taylor Swift LP. Dominic Fike's coming up, The Fontaines. Let me know how the sound quality sounds. This time I'm using a lapel mic. That's going to look awful on camera, but it's not attached to the camera. It's attached to me. No, sorry, it's not recording from the camera. It's recording onto my MacBook. So hopefully that will help the audio quality. For some reason, it didn't work when it was plugged into there. Anyway, please subscribe and like and subscribe. Either way, I'm not too fussy. If you just do it, please. Either way, it would be amazing for you to engage and satisfy both the algorithm and my pathological need for internet points. Until next time, stay safe.